Our goal is always to keep people driving as long as possible. We look at their vision first, since that's important. They have to have the minimum vision for the state of South Dakota. So we do a screen to make sure that they have that.
So your average was about 47/100ths of a second.
And then we go and look at their cognition. So we do tests that look at memory, concentration, flexibility of thought. Now that's a big one for people with dementia. Oftentimes they get on one path and nothing's going to stop them from that path. And you can't do that when you're driving. You need to have that flexibility of thought because driving always changes. We do a clock test, which is very indicative of executive functioning. And so they have found that if people do poorly on that, which often our patients with dementia do, that's going to indicate they're going to have some trouble with those high-level skills. And driving is one of the highest level skills we do. I always tell people that driving is one of those ADLs, those activities of daily living, probably about the only one that we do every day that could kill us and kill someone else. You know, that's why it's so important to make sure that we look at people and see if they're safe to drive. Those people that have the chronic conditions, like the Parkinson's, the MS, and dementia, oftentimes if they're not passing at this point, we're not probably going to see improvement.
Well, that's great.
You know, they say that on average women live 10 years and men live about 7 years beyond their ability to drive. So that's something we don't talk about enough with older drivers. We talk about where you're going to retire, you know, what are you going to do for fun? Are you going to Arizona? What kind of house are you going to live in? But we really don't make a plan for driving. I do have one gentleman I will never forget. I failed him. He was having a significant amount of trouble with driving, and he hugged me. And I think he knew that he shouldn't be driving anymore, and he just needed somebody to give him permission to quit. And I always applaud anybody who quits on their own. One thing for family members is if your family member has gotten lost, like they didn't show up for their hair appointment because they couldn't get there, or they show up 2 hours late to your house when they come to your house all the time, you really need to get them tested or talk to them about not driving. And we always tell people up front that, you know, if this doesn't go well, we might have to report you to the state of South Dakota. And then once that person decides, or we decide they shouldn't drive and the family decides they shouldn't drive, you really need to take the car away. In South Dakota, you know, being a rural state with a large population of elderly people, this is something that we really need to talk to our family members about, because we really want to keep everybody safe.